Hey everybody,
Hi, welcome to another episode of the Honey Guess What podcast. I'm Dan,
I'm Brynn.
and we're here to share some information with each other and with you.
Yeah.
We've each prepared a lighthearted topic, hopefully, and mine's a little bit academic this week, actually.
Oh, mine is not.
Oh, well, perfect. So we're going to share some information with you. Hopefully you find it interesting and or entertaining. And the trick is neither one of us know what the other person has presented or is about to present, what they prepared. So
Right.
um, I guess it's the quickest synopsis I could possibly give of
Well,
what we're about to do.
hopefully, if you're new to the podcast, please look back for some of our older episodes.
Yes.
This is, I think, our fifth, so
Hmm.
we're getting into the swing of things.
Yeah. Um, yes, and feedback, we love it. Please give it as much as you can. So, Brynn is actually going to start us off this week.
Yes, yes, I am. And as I said, mine is not really academic.
Okay.
So imagine, if you will,
Oh,
it's
no.
the mid 80s.
Oh,
You are a toy inventor.
okay.
And your new toy is coming out on the market. It's about to sweep the nation.
Okay.
Okay? Your first model of this toy is made with home office supplies.
Are we playing a guessing game right now? Am I? Do you want
Yes,
me
a
to?
little bit.
You want me to jump in?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, made with home office supplies. It's a toy.
And you name it after the sound it makes when it lands in your hand.
Oh, is it um uh, is it GAC, not GAC?
No, GAC was later.
The GAC was
This
later,
is like the early to mid 80s.
early to mid
This
80s.
toy was huge, made him millions of dollars. And after we talk about what it is and everything, I'll tell you more. But
Okay.
do you want another guess?
Sound it makes.
Literally, his first prototype was made out of rubber bands.
Hmm.
I've stumped you.
I know this is gonna be one that as soon as you say it, I'm gonna be kicking myself. But okay, just go for it.
Are you ready?
Yeah.
It's the Koosh ball.
Oh. Okay. All right.
Yeah, so my topic tonight is the Koosh ball.
Okay. All right.
So, no, seriously, these things were like everywhere.
Yeah.
If you grew up in the late 80s through the 90s, you probably had a koosh ball.
Mm-hmm.
There were tons of different iterations,
Yep.
different sizes. Um, about 10 years into making them, they introduced them with like arms and faces. They were called
Yep.
kooshkins.
Okay. Yep. I remember those.
Okay. So, yeah, so they were, like I said, they came on the scene in the mid 80s. Um, they Each one consists of about 2,000 natural rubber filaments. I talked about the Kooshkins. The Kooshkins actually became a comic.
They made a comic out of it.
Yes.
So they are like the reverse trolls treatment.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay, so Kooshkins was made into a comic book miniseries by Archie Comics um, in the mid to late 90s.
Okay.
I think that's how you know that you've made it, right?
Yeah.
When Archie makes you into a
Yeah,
comic.
you got your own comic. Okay.
Um, The Wikipedia page on Koosh is very small, and actually they're asking for more information if you have more information on Koosh balls, which brings me to the Koosh ball mystery.
Okay.
So, like I said, I had said to Dan earlier that I didn't have a ton of information on Koosh, and this is why, well, on my topic, and this is why, because the Wikipedia page is super small, and then it sends you to Hasbro. So they went off the market in the early 2000s. You couldn't get them anymore. I remember in college, I was trying to learn how to juggle. My roommate was on the
Okay.
juggling
Yeah, I
team or
remember. Yeah.
whatever, the juggling club.
Yeah, I remember. Yeah.
So she told me that the easiest way to learn how to juggle was with koosh balls. So this was like the dark ages of the internet. Like I could order textbooks, but I didn't know how to order anything else on the internet.
Yeah.
And we couldn't find them.
Hmm.
We went to toy stores. I actually ended up,
Which still existed then.
yes,
They did.
yes. I actually had my mom checking eBay for koosh balls,
Which
okay?
barely existed then.
Right? So koosh balls were like impossible to find.
Hmm.
This thing that was like everywhere in our childhood. They had extra soft ones, extra like big ones. You could buy them in 3-packs so that you could learn to juggle.
Do you know why we don't know where any of them went? Because nobody ever told anybody to stop playing Mumball.
Mumball.
Yeah.
Oh, that's a throwback too.
And so nobody was talking about it because they just forgot to stop playing Mumball.
Oh, I forgot about Mumball.
You don't have to actually get quiet when you talk
Oh,
about
I know.
Mumball.
I just it was like reverence.
Yeah.
Mumball. Anyway. So like these Koosh balls, they were amazing, but then they disappeared. So the Wikipedia page, that's like very short, has 3 paragraphs, sends you to Hasbro.
Mm-hmm. Hasbro.
In 2017, Hasbro brought the rights to Koosh.
Oh, that too.
Yeah.
I have a small segue from
That's
this.
fine. Go ahead
Do you
and
know
segue.
Do you know what else they bought around that time?
No.
Death Row Records.
Interesting. Hasbro obviously had some money on their hands.
Because when I think Hasbro, I think Death Row Records.
That's really interesting.
Yeah. Yeah, they own all of Suge Knight's music.
Interesting.
Yeah, that's interesting, huh?
Yeah.
All right, so that was
anyway, so I clicked the link
yeah.
to go to Hasbro's site to find out what happened to the Koosh balls. Their site no longer has a Koosh page.
It's in the Hasbro vault.
It's gone. You can, okay, so then I Google searched because I was like, all right, Wikipedia led me nowhere. Wikipedia has forsaken me.
I'm just imagining you sitting at like, one of those cork boards with like the thumbtacks with the, all right, so first they were their own entity and then Hasbro bought them and you got like the...
Well, no, they disappeared for a short time.
Oh, and it just got a big question mark in the middle.
Yes.
For some reason, you're smoking a cigarette in this scene, and you're just like...
Or like a big old cigar. Yeah, so anyway.
Yeah.
So I go to the Hasbro website. It doesn't exist. I go then to Google.
Yeah,
Google,
like you would.
Google has to tell me now. So you can still buy them. The first thing that comes up are like shopping links.
Sure.
Walmart has them. Target has them. Their logo has changed a little, but it's still spelled the same. Koosh.
Okay.
So somebody is making them.
Oh, it's a Willy Wonka mystery.
This is where I'm at now. So this is my plea into the ether to you, to our listeners. What the heck happened to Koosh? Who is making them? Where can we, I know I can get them now at Walmart and Target. Where are they coming from? And where did they go? And are they being mined somewhere? Koosh balls.
Yeah.
Oh, also.
Oh.
So there's a sub company of Koosh that...
Koosh sub.
Don't get weird.
You
get this weird.
You can't. You brought up Koosh balls. You're telling me to not get weird.
So for a short time, while Hasbro owned them, and I don't know if they still do or not, but while Hasbro owned them in 2017 and 18, they started marketing them more like Nerf, and so they were making smaller ones that loaded into soft pellet guns.
I'm just imagining. I'm retconning this in my brain right now. I'm imagining a teacher, just kids are going crazy in the room, and just pulls out a Nerf gun with a Koosh ball, and just hey, quiet down, and just shoots kid with a Koosh ball. Mom's the word.
Seriously though, that's how prolific they were in our childhood. Our teachers all had them in their desks.
Yeah, exactly.
We had them at our house. Every time my mom cleaned, there's 3 Koosh balls under the couch. They were everywhere.
Yeah.
And then they disappeared.
And really durable too.
Yeah, they're an awesome toy. So not only do people use them when they're learning how to juggle, we used them as kids. We threw them at each other. We had indoor snowball fights. We bounced them around. They were the first sensory toy.
Right, yeah. Well, you said 2,000 filaments on an average one, so that's a lot of sensory play. You'd think it would come back.
Yeah, and you could stretch it and you could bounce it in your hand. It was really... It was like a fidget toy.
Yeah.
Before fidget toys were a thing.
Right.
Yeah. And I just don't understand how they like went out of fashion and now they've disappeared.
It's probably the Visco girls.
The Visco girls didn't kill the Koosh ball, man.
No, they're bringing it back.
Oh, maybe.
Yeah.
They're cool.
Right.
The Visco girls are cool. You almost just admitted it.
I almost admitted it. It was so close. If you haven't listened to that episode, you don't understand. But hopefully you will soon. So in all seriousness, though, they're made of rubber.
Yeah.
So like they don't degrade.
No, that's where are all the
Where
Koosh
are they
balls?
going? You know, maybe they're actually like they are harvested, or like they're actually the alien race that has like come down from space, and we just have been like treating them as like toys, but they're actually like offspring of little like oh, nerd out here. Here we go. Get your nerd ears on. Like tribbles from Star Trek, like those little furry like things. Maybe that's what a Koosh ball actually is.
You got too nerdy and you lost me.
I only have one head right now, Brynn. I don't have two heads. Stop looking at me like that.
I have no idea what you're talking about.
Yeah.
You confused me and...
I'm sorry. But anyway.
Yeah,
so that's a good question. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I can't say I've seen them in stores.
No. I honestly don't know the last time I saw one. And I don't even know really what made me think of them. Like, all of a sudden, I was just like, what am I going to talk about this week? How about Koosh balls?
Sure, yeah.
Sure.
I'm not sure how you got there, but I'm glad you did. That's really cool.
I am too. And all, like, they had, okay, so they've had Koosh ball key rings, baseball sets,
yeah,
yo-yos.
Oh, I had one of those.
You had a Koosh yo-yo?
I had a Koosh yo-yo. I'm pretty sure I did.
That's awesome.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm pretty sure I had one of those at one point. Because I couldn't handle a regular yo-yo.
That makes sense.
I'm not
I
sure.
love you, but that makes sense.
Yeah, that has Dan written all over it.
So, yeah, that's, I mean, like I said, it wasn't a ton of information.
No, but
it was more like, hey, what happened to Koosh balls?
Yeah, just trip down memory lane for a minute. Yeah, cool. Well, thank you.
You're welcome. And the guy who invented them did become a millionaire.
Sure.
It was his $1 million idea.
Yeah, why not? I mean, like I said, those things are everywhere. So I hope that...
And I did kind of gloss over the name, but he did name it because that's the sound it made when he threw it in his hand.
That's cool.
Koosh.
Yeah.
It's like, Koosh.
Sounds like a little, that like feeling that goes down your spine, like when you think about it, and I don't know.
Koosh.
Yeah. Yeah. All right. So, my topic this week.
Yes, academic, you said.
It's rather academic. I prepared a good amount of writing for this. I'm not sure exactly how much that I'll actually cover.
You over-prepare.
I
under-prepare, you over-prepare.
Yeah.
Every single week.
And yet, we've been doing all right.
We're doing fine, I think.
Okay. So, language.
I love language.
You do. I know
Linguistics was my favorite class in college.
Well,
true story.
This is going to hopefully pique your interest then.
I'm listening.
So language is a pretty variable concept. It's variable as fashion. Like it evolves like through time, and we can map it out and see what was popular and what was used when. It evolves, it reverts, it finds new paths, and then it circles back to old ones. People have been using code language since before the written word. A well-known use of code language in the modern era is shown in the film. I can't ever do one of these without talking about a movie. It's a movie, Wind Talkers.
Oh, right.
Okay.
Nicolas Cage.
Sure. I haven't watched it myself.
About the Navajo.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
So you're talking about a movie you haven't seen.
I'm not talking about the movie. This is just
okay.
a side, like, supplementary information.
Yes. But yeah, it's about the Navajo language that was used in World War II. Nicolas Cage is in it.
Oh. I'm sure it's a fine movie. So,
hey.
he has no middle of the road movies. You cannot deny that.
Good one.
It's a good one.
It's one of his good ones, yeah.
All right. So, a well-known use of code language in modern eras in Wind Talkers, where the U.S. military uses the Navajo language to outsmart Japanese intelligence. So basically in the movie, they start using that because they suspected that the Japanese had cracked their military codes, and they tried using that because not only did it use an alphabet and it used a lot of sounds that the English language didn't use, and therefore Japanese hackers could not crack it.
Right.
So
It's true story.
it's a very true story. Again, I know it's a great story. Apparently, it's a great movie. Let us know if you agree. So,
Maybe that's one we have to watch sometime.
yeah, that sounds like one. So, not just military did this, though. Um, Mainstream cultures have done this for a long time. Something called thieves' cant, or thieves' argot, or rogues' cant. Another way to talk about it was called peddler's French. It was a secret language, which was formerly used by thieves, beggars, and hustlers of various kinds in Great Britain.
Okay.
Okay, and it also was used in other in other English-speaking countries, but the classical use of it is rather obsolete. So they don't really use it so much anymore, um, and it's mostly relegated to the realm of literature and fantasy role-playing. People study this so that they can get into character and such.
Sure.
But individual terms continue to be used in criminal subcultures.
Okay.
Okay, so in both Britain and the United States, criminals still use this. So essentially, what it is, let's see here.
So like, okay, so I'll reference a movie now. In
Okay,
Pirates of the Caribbean,
okay, yep.
when Elizabeth Swann invokes the right to parlay, like like she's using a word that she knows that the pirates are going to use. It's not an English word. It's
Mhm.
not, but it's something that they use as like as part of their.
Kind of,
Okay.
and I'll explain in a minute. You're on the right track that like they're using an alternative uses of words to mean
Sure.
other things. Um, so basically, oh, there it is. It's also used in South German, and Swiss equivalent is called Rotwelsch, and its Dutch equivalent is Barguns, and the Serbo-Croatian equivalent is Satrovaki. Okay, so they all these languages have this concept of using language in a different way to subvert. Okay.
Yeah.
Now, how did they actually do it? What does it mean? So, one of the longest recorded versions of this in the English language dates back as early as the 1840s.
Perfect.
Okay. So, linguists refer to it as rhyming slang. Okay. So, experts, this is all from Wikipedia,
Of
which
course.
I love. Another small segue on this. I did see our
Yes.
bank account a
I
donation to Wikipedia.
our annual donation in your name.
She didn't lie. She
Merry
did it.
Christmas.
Thank you very much.
$10.
And so, back to the topic. Um, um, so some suggest that it was. Experts aren't clear as to why this particular derivative of English developed, though. So some people think that it was used by vendors in a market to talk about customers without the customers knowing.
Okay.
Um, if you see some wealthy people coming down the pike, you can be like, oh, say the code word, and everybody raises their prices a little bit. You watch out for each other like that.
Yeah.
Or if you think that you're suspecting, a thief or
Right.
some trouble,
Right.
you have that.
Security sweep aisle 4.
Right. So, but basically, but others believe that it was used even back then by criminals to evade police detection. Others believe it was either a linguistic accident or a game. It was definitely, though, used by people to confuse non-locals.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
And it probably actually, from my understanding of how language evolves, it was probably a mix of those things.
Sure, yeah.
And then one group kind of ran with it.
Yeah. So we're going to focus on how it was used.
Like, we all love Danny DeVito, but the Visco girls really love Danny DeVito. Dig the knife.
Take it, twist it, pull it,
Bop it.
That is not the toy of the day. That goes to Koosh, but Bobbit gets an honorable mention. So, one of the longest. Let's see here. That's covered that. So many examples of rhyming slang are based on locations in London, such as Peckham Rye, meaning necktie. So, like, it kind of sounds like
It's Leary speak.
you got it, you nailed it.
It's Leary speak. If you haven't seen Mary Poppins Returns, there's like a whole song about the Learys,
Yeah,
and like they're rhyming to say instead of what they actually mean.
right. So they will rhyme to sound like something else that sounds like that thing.
Mm-hmm.
So Peckham Rye, meaning necktie, which dates from the late 19th century. Hampstead Heath means teeth. And then Barnet Fair, meaning hair. So those are all places in London that you would use. So for an example,
Oh, I wonder if that famous rhyme about the bells came out around that time. There's a famous rhyme, and of course I don't know the whole thing. It was like a children's rhyme about the bells of London. There are several churches' bells that are uh, oranges and lemons, say the bells of St. Clement's, they all rhyme.
okay, possibly. I didn't find anything about that in here,
Okay.
but it's possible. So let's see what I have here. So the mid 20th century, many rhyming slang expressions use the name of contemporary famous people of the time. So to talk about someone's neck, they would say grabbed him by his Gregory Peck, or let's see here. Oh, those are some unsavory ones on here.
Yeah,
So
don't share
I
that.
won't share those.
We're
So
we're still a GPG show.
we're trying really hard. So that actually has gone even into the late 20th century. They started using talking about like flares and trousers. They would talk about dirtied up your Tony Blairs, which would be the
The
flares on your
flare of your
trousers.
trousers.
Or if they wanted they were at a drinking establishment, they would ask the barkeep for a couple of Britney Spears, a couple of beers. So people would do this, casually, not in terms of trying to subvert, but just as a silly way of going about it. A lot of these, though, have actually passed into common usage.
Okay.
Okay, so some substitutions have become relatively widespread in England in their contracted form. So in England, it would be common to hear to have a butcher's, meaning you have a look, like it originates like from a butcher's hook. So you'd say, "Oh, you have a butcher's hook. You have a look about you." It's really it gets very complicated in that it's like you really have to be on your game to know what someone is saying.
I love that about slang, though. That's what makes it so hard to learn other languages.
Yeah.
And I think that's what I find the most like exciting about language, how things don't have to mean what you say. It's confusing for foreigners.
hmm
But it's interesting in the way language grows.
Well, let me tell you, I speak this language, obviously. I speak English, American English, but I speak English. And it was really hard to follow a lot of this stuff, to be like trying to trace, be like, oh, how does that work? What is,
Well, and Brits in general, and of course, I'm generalizing, but Brits in general like to have fun with language. I
yes,
mean, when you read Shakespeare, you really need to be paying attention because he doesn't always say what he's saying.
right.
It like works around it and leans toward it, and that's part of what makes it so fun, I think.
Well, and what Shakespeare would also do is something that also happens here is that it would then layer upon itself.
Hmm.
So you could easily have a phrase such as, meet on the old frog and toad by the tramp and dill.
Frog and Toad is Road.
Oh, wow, good job. Okay.
Oh, that's in the Leary song.
Oh, is it? Okay. I should pay better attention.
I've seen that movie a lot. It's Owen's current favorite, so.
So, okay, meet on the old frog and toad by the tramp and dill.
Tramp and Dill would be Mill.
Mill is one, it's dill, yeah.
A tramp. I don't know.
Tramp, I put lamp.
Oh,
Yeah. So like that.
lamp and mill.
Yeah, that would be something that you could say. Obviously, if you're looking to avoid attention or police or whatever, you could say that. Nobody else would know who what you're talking about. Talking to people you want. Um, so those all came about. However, we in American culture use some of these.
Sure.
So
I mean,
so
common
when
language.
yeah, what's a way to talk about making money?
Um, like making dough. Like
Close. Okay. Yeah.
bread. We say
Bread.
bread
Yep.
sometimes. Yeah.
Yes. Okay. Making dough, making bread. The dough likely came from bread, which they would use as bread and honey.
Bread and honey. Making
Money.
money. Yeah. Got it.
Okay. So we use
And then it just
a
kind of.
third or fourth derivative of
Isn't
that
that so cool
in our
though?
language.
That's.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we
That's how language evolves, and it's so
it's so
cool.
cool. And we throw it around like it's nothing.
Oh, yeah.
Um,
Oh,
to
yeah. She's got a lot of dough on her.
yeah,
Yeah. Totally.
yeah. To blow a raspberry.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. Where that came from?
I don't.
Okay. So it's a combination of the words raspberry tart, and then that would be fart.
Wow.
Yeah. So it sounds like a fart. That is the word that they would use, and then they called it raspberry tart to sound different. And then now we've
Well,
shortened
because
it.
nobody wants to say fart.
Right. And so now we just say raspberry.
Instead of I blew a raspberry tart.
Yeah.
I blew a raspberry.
Yeah.
Wow.
Put up your dukes.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So obviously that phrase we know means, to put up your fists and fight.
Mm-hmm.
Right? That comes from the Duke of York, or rather, put up your dukes is the Duke of York.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Duke of York in rhyming slang was used for the term fork.
Okay, yeah.
Which is a Cockney slang term for fist.
Wow.
So that's a more literal translation, a more literal movement from one language to another, but a few less connections. But that's actually where that came
Put
from.
up your dukes.
Yeah. Duke of York.
Fork fist.
Is fist.
Wow.
And the last one I have here is brass tacks.
Yeah, down to brass tacks.
Yeah.
Where does it come from?
Facts.
Brass tacks, facts. Wow.
That's all. That's the simplest one. But that comes directly, has not even evolved from Cockney rhyming slang.
Wow.
And
this is so cool. I'm so glad you chose this, Dan.
It was so fun. So I initially, as you said earlier, I have wrote here, the live-action Disney film Mary Poppins Returns song Triple Little Light Fantastic involves Cockney rhyming slang in part of its lyrics.
I really want to sing it, but I don't want to get sued by Disney.
We can't afford that at all.
I know.
And is primarily spoken by the London Lamplighters, which is the group of people, the laborers, the workers who...
Oh gosh, if you haven't seen it, please watch it.
Please
it's a great movie. Lin-Manuel Miranda sings that song, and he's, amazing.
Yeah.
Very amazing.
Very great. So,
amazing.
Calm yourself.
Sorry. I do love Lin.
He is amazing. I'm not going to take that away from him at all. So yeah, that's what I have.
Oh my gosh, Dan. This has been this. I'm so excited. We're going to sign off, and I'm going to want to talk more about this.
I know. I mean, we don't have to, sign off to you to talk about it if you got something you want to...
No, I'm just, the linguistic nerd in me loves this kind of stuff. I love the way, things about... Okay, so Star Trek. You brought up Star Trek earlier.
Here we go.
No, there's a Star Trek episode.
Okay.
Where they go to this planet, and they speak in, basically idioms.
Sure. Okay.
I can't remember the name of it. I'm not really a nerd.
How did
Okay, so we watched it in my linguistics class.
Oh, okay.
because it explained exactly this, how, so they talk, I wish I could remember the name of the episode so people could go
Someone
see
out
it.
there knows. If you
And
know the
someone out there
episode,
knows.
like comment or something on the video, do something, please. Like tell everybody else.
Yeah, it talks about exactly that. And like they have a moment back on the ship and they're like, how are we going to understand them? It's all based on their personal history on this planet.
Hmm.
They talk about like, oh, it's like the war of blah blah blah, and they talk in idioms and memories of things that have happened in the past, and it's so cool because it gives you a real idea of how language evolves
Hmm.
and how it relates to the areas, and so like the Duke of York was an English person, and so of course it evolved into the English language, and
Hmm.
it's so cool.
So yes, what's even more interesting too, is to compound that this is just one language, obviously, and I mentioned
Right.
the other languages that do this, so they have their own as well. And I'm sure if I were a betting man, I would say that they probably have developed a modern derivation of those as well in their
Well,
languages.
and it makes sense that they drop off after a while too,
Hmm.
like parts of them, especially the longer ones.
Yeah, like we said, that one was like 4 or 5
Yeah.
iterations from the original.
Well, how often do we use the idiom six of one, half dozen of the other to mean that like it's the same, one or the other?
Right.
But how often do you just say it's six of one?
Yes.
You know, you mean the whole thing, but because we all know it and we're comfortable with it, we say six of one. But to a non-English speaker, to someone who doesn't know the idiom, that makes no sense.
Well, and I guess to bring it even back to Mary Poppins, we'll even say, when the kids are, needing to do something they don't want to do, we'll, say, oh, well, a spoonful of sugar, and we'll offer them a good thing. Now we know what that means is, to reference Mary Poppins, a spoonful of sugar helps the medicine go down.
Right.
But very likely, the way we say it, because we're trying to subvert the children, our kids might just some point say, oh, spoonful of sugar, and not really put together, even though they've seen Mary Poppins, they might not necessarily put together that that's what we're doing until later on. That's how that stuff happens on a micro level, on a small level.
Dan, I love this. This was awesome.
Thank you. I wanted to do more academic stuff. I know I've done a lot of pop culture. What did you call it? It was like listicling or something like that.
Yeah, you
Um, it,
listicles.
yeah.
Yeah.
And so I was like, yeah, that was fun. I like those, but I want to try something a little bit different.
No, I liked this, and it was totally a good topic for me.
Yeah, it was something I didn't know hardly anything about. And then, I was listening to the soundtrack, and I was like, this is really cool. I wonder if there's anything about this. And
Oh gosh, that's so cool.
literally all of this came from Wikipedia.
Thanks, Wikipedia.
Thank you, Wikipedia. Every bit of this came from there. And we are not sponsored by Wikipedia.
I'd love to be.
Yeah.
I mean, I gave them some money. They could give a little
In
back.
fact, matter of fact, we're sponsoring them. It's kind of odd how that works. So yes, I think that's it for this episode.
Yeah, this was great. Thank you all so much for listening.
Yes,
Please,
thank you.
again, give us some feedback. We love to hear from our listeners.
Mhm.
We're working on some stuff, so
Yeah.
keep listening.
I'm going to be exploring other platforms to be putting our
Woo,
podcast
woo.
on. Yeah, to be more accessible. We've got some. We're just talking about some other ideas for how to get ourselves out there, and so that you guys can be a bigger part of this. So keep listening. Please enjoy. And
And Happy New Year.
Happy New Year to everybody. Take care.